Hello and welcome to Idea TV News Update. I am Cynthia Bassi. We begin with the headlines. Protesters press for mandatory e-transmission of election results. Somalia reviews telecom consumer protection draft. African regulators meet in Senegal to boost satellite internet access. Dangote signs $400 million deal to expand refinery to world's largest. And away from Africa, Jesse Jackson dies at 84. While U.S. surveillance jets deployed to UK as Iran tensions rise. In business, Customs denies Forex rate manipulation claims, and in health, First Lady urges leaders to support National Food Bank program. In sports, CAF Champions League quarter-final draw confirmed. SUNDOWNS draw STADE MALIEN in CAF Champions League last 8. Now the news in full. Demonstrators today returned to the National Assembly of Abuja to continue an ongoing work demanding mandatory real-time electronic transmission of election results, warning that any move to weaken the process poses a serious threat to democratic accountability. The protest, led by civil society groups and democracy advocates, focuses on the use of election technologies such as bimodal voter accreditation system and the IMEC result viewing portal to prevent result manipulation at polling units. Speaking during the work, former Minister of Education Obi Ezekwesili accused the National Assembly of undermining democracy by resisting clear provisions for compulsory electronic transmission of results. She urged that transparency is incompatible with discretionary clauses that allow network failure exemptions, insisting that credible elections depend on results being transmitted directly and instantly from polling units. Civil society leaders warned that removing these safeguards would erode public trust and entrench poor governance. Country Director of Action Aid Nigeria, Andrew Mamedu, said Nigeria has used election technology for over a decade and should be advancing, not retreating. He noted that the last general election recorded over 98% network coverage, dismissing connectivity concerns as outdated. Activist and politician Omoyele Sowore called for deeper reforms, including electronic voting and stronger action against vote buying, describing network failure arguments as an excuse to weaken accountability. Organizers say they will continue engagement and pressure until electoral laws fully protect voters' will. Still in Africa, Somalia's National Communications Authority met yesterday with telecom operators, internet providers and consumer representatives to review a draft regulation on consumer protection. The initiative aims to strengthen oversight of the rapidly expanding telecommunications sector and ensure fair service standards. Discussions focus on consumer rights, quality of service standards, pricing, transparency and contractual terms. The move follows a cooperation agreement signed earlier this month with Turkey's ICT authority to support technical expertise and bilateral collaboration. Mustafa Yassin Sheikh, NCA Director General, said a transparent and accountable telecom environment is essential for public trust and Somalia's digital transformation. Officials stressed that the regulation will build user confidence as mobile and internet connectivity continues to grow across the country. Regulators from more than 20 French-speaking African countries gathered in Senegal for a regional training session on satellite regulation, aiming at expanding internet access in rural areas. The event, held from February 9 to 12, brought together government, industry players and development partners. The discussions focus on integrating satellite services into national telecom networks, improving security, interoperability, and exploring business and financing models to support digital inclusion across the continent. The meeting comes as Africa faces a major digital divide, with only 6% of rural areas connected to the internet. Officials say stronger regulatory frameworks are key to attracting investment and extending connectivity to underserved communities. Moving on, Nigeria's Dangote Group has signed a $400 million equipment agreement with China's XCMG Construction Machinery to expand the capacity of the Dangote refinery from 650,000 barrels per day to 1.4 million barrels per day. Once completed, The facility is expected to surpass India's Jamnagar refinery and become the largest refinery in the world. The additional machinery will accelerate construction and support projects across refining, petrochemicals, agriculture, and infrastructure. The expansion also targets major increases in petrochemical and fertilizer production. Polypropylene output is projected to rise from 900,000 to 2.4 million tons annually, while urea production in Nigeria is set to triple to 9 million tons per year, alongside a 3 million ton plant in Ethiopia. Production of linear alkylbenzene and base oil will also grow, positioning the group as a leading supplier of key industrial inputs across Africa. The company says the investment will reduce Nigeria's dependence on fuel imports and strengthen its position as a regional export hub. Financing will come from internal cash flow, capital raised on the Nigerian stock market, and a planned listing of 5 to 10% of the refinery on the Nigerian Exchange Group, with the goal of attracting strategic investors and boosting transparency. We now take a quick break. The news continues when we return. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Idea TV News Update. Now, the rest of the news. Away from Africa, U.S. civil rights leader Jesse Jackson has died today at the age of 84, according to a statement from his family, who described him as a servant leader to the oppressed and voiceless around the world. Jackson rose to prominence in the 1960s alongside Martin Luther King Jr. and later became a major political force, running twice for Democratic presidential nomination and campaigning for the rights of African Americans and working-class communities. Tributes have poured in from across the world, with U.S. President Donald Trump describing him as a force of nature, while political leaders and activists praise his decades-long role in shaping civil rights and public policy. Still away from Africa, 2 United States military surveillance aircraft have arrived in the United Kingdom after flying overnight from Alaska, according to BBC Verify. The E-3 Sentry radar planes landed today at RAF Mildenhall after taking off from Anchorage. Analysts say the deployment comes as the United States increases pressure on Iran amid rising regional tensions. Experts believe the arrival of the aircraft could signal preparations for possible military operations. Meanwhile, footage has also shown an Iranian warship operating near the Strait of Hormuz, a key global shipping route, as military exercises continue in the Gulf. The development highlights growing security concerns across the region. Now, in business news, the Nigerian Customs Service has rejected claims that it manipulates foreign exchange rates used for import and export valuation. In a statement released yesterday, the agency said all rates on its digital clearance platform are provided directly by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Customs explained that the Biodogu unified system automatically receives and applies official exchange rates nationwide, stressing it does not generate or alter the figures. The clarification follows recent public commentary and concerns about forex pricing and customs valuation. The agency also dismissed reports that it applied an exchange rate of 1,451.63 naira to the dollar on the 6th of February 2026, saying the official rate used that day was 1,365.56 naira per dollar as transmitted by the central bank. And now in health news, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, today called on traditional religious leaders to back the federal government's National Community Food Bank program. Speaking at the National Traditional and Religious Leaders Summit in Abuja, she stressed that no eligible family should be left out when the initiative rolls out nationwide in April. The program, in partnership with the Federal Ministries of Health and Social Welfare and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, will register families with children under 6. Beneficiaries will receive nutritional counseling and food vouchers redeemable for locally grown or grown nutritious food. The scheme will be funded through a trust fund supported by private sector partners and public-spirited Nigerians. Health Minister Professor Mohammed Ali Pate highlighted the urgency of addressing child malnutrition, noting that nearly 40% of Nigerian children experiences stunted growth. Traditional and faith leaders pledged their support to mobilize communities and ensure the program reaches the most vulnerable households. Finally, in sports, the CAF Champions League quarter-final and semi-final fixtures were confirmed today in Cairo, setting up several high-profile clashes across the continent. Former champions Mamelodi Sundowns will face STADE MALIEN, while holders Pyramids FC take on FEB Rabat. 12-time champions Al Ahly renew their rivalry with Esperance de Tunis as debutants RS Berkane meet Al Hilal. Al Hilal will host their home leg in Rwanda due to the ongoing conflict in Sudan. The quarter-final first legs will be played 13th to 14th of March, with second legs on the 20th to 21st of March. Semi-finals are set for April, while the two-leg final will take place on 15th and 24th May. Still in sport news, former champions Mamelodi Sundowns will face surprise package STADE MALIEN in the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League after the draw was held today in Cairo. Defending champions Pyramid FC were paired with FEB Rabat in a repeat of last season's last 8 clash. Record 12-time winners Al Ahly will renew their rivalry with Esperance de Tunis, while debutants RS Berkane take on Al Hilal, who will host their home leg in Rwanda due to the conflict in Sudan. And that is all we have for you on Idea TV News Update. But before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. We brought to you news that protesters press for mandatory e-transmission of election results, and Somalia reviews telecom consumer protection draft. African regulators meet in Senegal to boost satellite internet access. Dangote signs $400 million deal to expand refinery to world's largest. And away from Africa, Jesse Jackson dies at 84. U.S. surveillance jets deployed to UK as Iran tensions rise. In business, Customs denies Forex rate manipulation claims. And in health, First Lady urges leaders to support National Food Bank program. In sports, CAF Champions League quarter-final draw confirmed. And now, do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Cynthia Brasi. Thank you for watching.